Let's try this again, shall we? All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. And then today we have a very special guest, Tim Bashall.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. We got a lot of people obviously making deals and making things happen in the background. So, Tim, without further ado, can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of IT Works Resource Group, based in Lancashire in the UK. Founded the group along with Darren Mills and then Gary Dieter back in 2004. And originally it was just myself and Darren who were famously stuck in an office with no windows overlooking the second office did have windows actually, but which we moved into very quickly, and it overlooked an alleyway which was full of drug addicts and alcoholics, if you look around at the facilities that we have today, we've come a hell of a long way in nearly 13 years. So from inauspicious beginnings.
No, if there is a funny part about it, every time I hear about this story, the setting gets worse and worse.
It's true. No, it was pretty bad, actually.
Was that the same alleyway that Gary told us that he was so fed up that he didn't know he wanted to recruit anymore, and when he started his career trying to make things happen, things didn't happen, and then...
Yeah, well, it got tough for us all at certain times, so I think we all... There have been times where we've all felt like, running down that alleyway and never coming back, but that's the way recruitment sometimes is, and it can be a bit of a roller coaster. But I tell you what, it's been fabulous to me, and you only have to look behind you to see the sort of success that we've had and what can be achieved. And to some extent, I still feel like we've only just started.
Gotta go through some of the weather first before the rainbows and sunshines.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, resilience is a big part of the required character of any recruitment consultant. So.
But I think at some point down the side, we should probably have that alleyway somewhere featured. Like this wall actually would be cool.
Yeah, we should go and take a photo of it.
It's not always about the Harry Potter.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get the same people to stand in. I don't know.
Oh, that would be a very cool picture. I always like the historic sound of it, and like the phone booth we're trying to reminiscing a little bit more, obviously the British culture to it. But how many times have you been to Atlanta?
Atlanta, this is, I don't know, to be honest, but I come 2 or 3 times a year, so it's probably over the last, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 times, something like that.
I see.
So it feels like a second home to me.
I bet, especially now you have friends and family here.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody, it really does feel like family, and one of the things I love when I come over here is the reception that I get and the response I get from the new guys. Every time I arrive here, there's new faces, and I have to learn some new names, which is just great. And this time there's probably probably 6 people, I think.
I think so, yeah.
6 or 7 people that I hadn't met before. So
we're pushing the 30 bracket now. It's quite exciting for being, I think on the US side, more of a US startup, about 3 years and 2 months old. Yeah, over the 30 threshold. Obviously, a lot of you have heard about Tim's name from what we mentioned about where everything started back in 2004, and also the US journey started in late 2013, early 2014 with Gary by himself. Now we're at 30 and looking through the next bracket of 40 to 50, hopefully by 2019. Lots of growth plan. But prior to that, talking about the group started in 2004, if I remember correctly.
That's right, yeah.
And I think that there's something new I learned about Tim today is I didn't know about the North America growing up history and all. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where you came from, and then how that all tying together?
Sure. Well, whilst I have, I've lived in England for most of my life. My mother was brought up in Canada. She emigrated to Canada when she was 8 years old, and my mum and dad were married in Canada. So whilst I was possibly conceived, although I've never bothered to work it out, in Canada, I was actually born in England, and then but my parents re-emigrated to Canada for a very brief spell when I was 11, and so I lived there for I went to school there for probably about 9 months, something like that. When I was
elementary school.
It was grade school.
Grade school. Okay.
Yeah. So and I really enjoyed that. I got into playing a bit of ice hockey and skating, and I just felt like it started to feel like it was home when we went back to the UK. That was an early introduction. I had grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles in Canada, so we used to go on holidays there a lot. So that was always a big part of my life. And then when I was older, I wanted to go and work there. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they were a bit tight on the work permits at the time. So I ended up coming to work in the US. And worked in LA or travelled. I was more travelling really, and doing menial tasks, fitting carpets. Worked on a fair, the fair at Santa Monica Pier. I don't know if you the one that you always.
The pier is still there.
It
very
was
different now, but it's still there.
Yeah. I don't know whether they still have the fair there, but I can remember loading children onto canoe rides and all sorts of things. So yeah.
Why do you think that having that international exposure, especially in this case, that essentially almost North America, and I didn't know that you have traveled so many places within the US as well. What do you think that have brought into, now went back to the UK, started company, business, how that has transpired into things that will influence you in doing anything that's a little differently?
Well, I think the biggest thing was that when the business became successful in the UK, and because of the markets that we were working, which are very, very niche markets and still are, but some of those markets were quite limited in what we could do with them in the UK. And whilst consultants would always be able to make good money out of them and become a real expert within the market. In terms of the company's growth, the size of the markets in the UK did limit the opportunity. So when we started looking further afield, and America was the
that's pure love.
America was this is the kind of behaviour I have to put up with in this company.
The special love you get to receive coming to the US.
I don't know whether they could see that on film or not, but I'm getting.
Well, we gotta love emoji come out of that.
Everybody. Yeah. What was I saying? So the US was an obvious choice, but having travelled here and been here, spent a lot of time here and in Canada in the past, meant that I wasn't scared to do it. Or we weren't scared to do it, and it was just it was an obvious step for us. It's still a big step for us at that time, but it's something that I'm so glad we did. And well, I'd say you only have to look around you today to understand what a great move it's been, and
a remarkable story. I think that the group grew for over 10 years and then venture into the US. And I know that there are lots of conversation going on, potentially maybe going to another continent. And obviously we had on the plan right now to open a West Coast office in the near future. Yeah,
well, that's very much on the cards. We're looking at San Diego. I'm off there tomorrow to visit the SIA Staffing Industry Analyst Conference with Gary.
By regulation, we cannot say what awards that we have won. Everybody will find out online pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
We won something.
But we did. We have won something. So hopefully,
possibly more than one.
Hopefully, we might even get on stage this time. But yeah, we're looking forward to receiving that. And so we've actually got. There's another award I can't talk about. We won another award in the UK. Towards the end of last year, and there's another one coming, but we can't say anything about that either. But at the end of February,
it's all good things.
Yeah, at the end of February we will be able to. So we've got a couple of awards which we're very proud of.
What do you think have been the secret sauce? It could be more than one.
Yeah.
Secret ingredients of making all these flourish.
the big thing for me has always been, has always set us apart, is the type of markets that we work, and building our expertise within those markets, and really that is more than anything else. All the rest of it, you need the drive, you need the energy, you need the resilience. All of that stuff that you'll talk about if you talk to anybody in recruitment. But really, the thing that has set us apart is the drive to become number one and the expert within each of the markets that we work. And that's now, it's more than just a philosophy for the recruitment consultants. That actually, it's a philosophy for anybody who works for the business. So from yourself in training and internal recruitment to our office managers. Everybody's striving to be an expert at what they do. So,
which we have lots of opportunity as well joining our team. It's very important for us to find more pillars, more mentors. I think most of you probably know how to reach me already, but obviously that Coffee with Kyan, great way, or contact us 678-291-0081. But let's talk a little bit more about the people. But obviously our business is all built upon human beings.
Yeah,
it's not purely system or automated process. How do you think the people that along the way, since before the group even started, channel back on you to when you started a group along with Darren and the individuals, Gary coming on board, and then through this entire journey, how do you think the people that have made an impact or difference or in any shape or form to where you are today?
Well, as you rightly say, it's all about people. It's very much all about people, and without having great people in the business who can reflect the vision and the enthusiasm that we have for what we do, then we're going nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And we're lucky enough to have built a team of fabulous individuals. You know what? We're always looking for more, but we've got some great guys. We've got great guys here. We've got great guys back in the UK. Hello, folks in the UK. I'll be back with you soon. The level of dedication that we've had, it makes me very proud over the years. Recruitment, it can be a cruel business sometimes, and it's tough and it's hard, but
it's very cutthroat.
But we've got a lot of guys increasingly here and back in Lancashire that have been with us a long time, very committed individuals, and have become very successful as a result of their efforts.
Fantastic. On that particular note, what have been some of the your proudest moment, or the moment that make you go, oh, I cannot believe I'm part of this, or cannot believe I made that happen? What have those been throughout your entire journey?
The big one for me, setting up here is something that I'm very proud of. I love the US, and it's always been a big part of North America's always been a big part of my life. So when I was in my early 20s, what I wanted to do, I did an apprenticeship from the age of 16 for a company called British Aerospace in the UK, and I always wanted to travel. And British Aerospace at the time, they had contracts in Saudi Arabia and in India, and I worked there for about 6 years, and I found that it really wasn't for me. I could never see a way to chart a course to success within that business. Some people do, and that's great, but I couldn't, and I didn't really like it too much. But I stuck with it for a little while because I thought I might have the opportunity to go to Saudi Arabia or India or
places,
somewhere exotic, but never really occurred. So I ended up doing it by myself. I went out and travelled, and I didn't, I did it on a shoestring. So I didn't really have, a huge amount of money, and that's why I was working on fairs on Santa Monica Pier and fitting carpets and sleeping in a garage in somebody's garage in LA at one point. So the thing that, to get back to the point, without rabbiting on too much,
it's all about you. It's your time.
The thing that makes me really proud is to be able to offer the opportunities for guys from Lancashire and guys from the UK to come out here and set that up for them, and give them that opportunity to come here to Atlanta, or indeed to San Diego or California, and see that life, give them that life-changing experience. There's the potential to do it the other way around as well, and of course. But so far, it's been people from. We've done that for a number of people who've come out here, and it's that really. I get a bit emotional about that, because it's what I always wanted to do, and I'd love to have had that opportunity myself when I was that age, in my 20s, and I kind of did it, but. In
a different
different sort of way.
Do you think that would have been that was the driving force you making all this happen?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I kind of decided that when I went back to the UK after living in LA, I decided that I didn't really want to come back to America until I had some money behind me, because LA's a great place, but. You're better off with a few dollars in your pocket.
Yeah, people always talk about that, the American dream, go to LA, make things happen. Some people may say that about New York. It's quite interesting that you make that journey back to the UK, making things happen, and now you have a like you said, second home in America.
Well, that's right, and I love the energy and the approach to life and the attitude of people in the States, and I like to think that I reflect a bit of that back in the UK, and that's in that sort of sense of the positivity and the drive, and try to ensue any limiting beliefs and all that kind of good stuff. So
but I believe that the options that we have are quite unique, because it is the whole full desk. I think that most traditional staffing industry and company would do the split desk, or even down to they have a resourcer, they have recruiters.
Sure.
And the opportunity is quite unique. What do you think that the environment that you have plays such a huge part contributing into the business structure and such, have played in the difference, like you said, that change people's life, or impart something that you find something that grow into something that they never envisioned themselves to be? What do you think that the things that you have come into play that made a difference?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm quite answering your question, but one of the things that we thought might be one of our biggest challenges when we set up here was the fact that we didn't work in the traditional way that most US companies work, with the separation between recruiter and business development. So which here in the US for the most traditionally have been both very separate things, but the focus on being an expert within a very tight market space really means that you have to devote your time to all aspects of the recruitment life cycle, and that's a really important thing for the people in the business. And so when we set up, but we didn't know that would work here when we set up 3-4 years ago, and because there were very few other companies doing it like that. So that was what we felt might be our biggest challenge. As it happens, it's been great. It's been great, and it hasn't really. It hasn't. It hasn't been a problem at all. So it's really worked nicely. In fact, it's given us a competitive advantage. So yeah.
I see. So tie back into your own career, including IT works as well. What have been some of the down moments per se? Some of the moments you're looking at. Wow, I don't know if I ever get out of this hole. That this hole is so deep. I don't know how I can come out from that. What were the moments like?
Well, I think everybody has some of those in their career. It's part of life, isn't it? And particularly in business, in any kind of business, and recruitment is no exception. Far from it. And I think actually recruitment reflects life very well in its ups and downs, and
the full life cycle, as we call it.
But I mean, I can remember before IT Works. I mean, I've been in recruitment for about 25 years, and been involved at a senior level with a number of businesses before, and I can remember, driving out at lunchtime and sitting in my car, thinking, do I really want to go back?
Oh no.
And I'm sure we've all done that at some point, you know. And the tougher the challenge, you know, that's one of the things that I really enjoy is coming up with answers to the big questions, and taking the decisions. And we all make mistakes over the lifetime of our careers, and it's not how you know, it's not whether you get things right or wrong all the time. It's what you learn from what you do wrong. In fact, you do learn more from what you get wrong than what you do right sometimes, because you don't always know why it went why things went well. So you know, and I think you can draw on that strength. It's just you need to believe in yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
So on the beliefs, finding answers, solutions per se. Okay, so if you want to add anything on top of that to any potential entrepreneur, business, or group, individuals per se are going through some of the tougher time challenges, would that be the advice you would give it to them?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of advice. For the most part, in recruitment, when people are having a tough time, my advice is always to take a step back, stop thinking about doing the deal, forget about doing the deal. In fact, stop worrying about, try not to worry about the money.
It's hard sometimes.
It is hard. But it's trust me, it's good advice. And focus on the little things, focus on the little wins, and the elements of the recruitment process that will which build towards the bigger things. So, and by that I mean it could be just finding a new contact. Take pleasure in it. Take pleasure at finding a new contact, or getting a lead for a new requirement, or whatever. The little things like that build towards building a relationship with a client, and then interviews and subsequent deals and so on and so forth. But it's really important that when you're having a tough time, you take pleasure in each of one of those little wins, and take that on board as being a success in itself. That's the biggest thing, I think.
Thank you for sharing that words of wisdom. Yeah, I think that having that attitude, that mindset is very important. Otherwise, it's hard to break through. And then partially is business. I think some people encounter similar situations in personal life as well. It's hard to get through those tough moments.
Yeah, it really is.
Cool.
But you just got to, and you just got to keep going. You know, it's it will come good in the end.
I'm glad to hear it. I think that obviously our group have so much success along the way. Obviously, it's not every day is rainbows and sunshines, but we all learn from what we have done. Yeah. And then, you know, not every deal is going to happen, but obviously we strive to make it happen, but also learn from what may not have happened to make it channel into something that's beautiful and brilliant.
And I think it's actually important for our guys back in the UK to understand that you know, there's a lot of the US office had a lot of success over the last 3-4 years, and the deals that come through they're good value deals. Some of the guys are making a lot of money, but it's not easy. You know, it's not. They're still working hard.
I can't tell you how many tears we have had on a regular basis. Do you see the t-shirt box in the back? That's why you need good coffee.
Yeah. You do. It's not easy. You know, and it's this. You know, the job is the job. If it was easy and anybody could do it, we'd have an office with 1,000 people in it. So it takes the right kind of person.
Yeah, I say that usually to people that aspire to become recruiters or recruitment consultants, or want to be in the staffing industry doing what we do. I would say that this is not for everybody.
No, it's really not.
It's important to find out that what you're looking for yourself, who you aspire to be, and from there. So on that note, what advice would you have for individuals that would like to either join IT world, or perhaps looking into a career in staffing or business development? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, well, I think you need to research what a life in recruitment is like first before you get involved.
Sign your soul away.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, And you know, people have different ideas about what hard work is, and
perceptions,
and what it takes, and not everybody. Not everybody either can do it or wants to do it in the end, so it's really something that you've got to think hard about. But if you do, and if you've got the right approach, if you've got that drive, the energy, the positive attitude, and the resilience that you need,
perseverance,
and you can cast off any limiting beliefs that you might have grown up with, then the sky is the limit. It really is. And you know, and here I'm not sure if when I started in this business 25 years ago, did I know that we'd have offices, international offices. You know, we'd be looking at San Diego, and Germany actually is another market that we're looking at the moment. But I'm not sure I did, you know, but I just always believed that I could do better. I always believed that there was more that could be done. You know, everybody says it's a small world. It's actually quite a big world, but and there's lots to see and lots to do out there. And but you know, I think you've got to go for it.
Absolutely, commit to and go for it.
Yeah.
And we talk about a lot what's happening moving forward. Obviously, some in the near future, San Diego, possibly Germany as well as on the horizon. So, what's on the horizon for Tim Bashall?
It's to be at the centre of continued development of the business and continue to help build this business into being the number one niche business systems recruiter in the US and the UK and all of the markets that we enter, and that's the key. The relentless pursuit of expertise.
Fantastic. Quite an inspirational story.
Thank you.
We'll conclude here. Anybody have any questions? And obviously, that great way to contact me will be Coffee with Kyan, directly off Twitter. We see lots of love coming from the UK and in the US. Thank you, everybody, for watching. There's quite a bit of people actually.
Yeah.
On here.
Really?
The list kept growing.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Fame at last.
Yeah, we're trying to free Tim back to you all back home, and I know that your wife have been anticipating expecting your comeback.
Yeah, no. Thank you very much, because I don't know why, but I was
Academy Award moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a bit nervous before I did this, because Kyan wouldn't tell me what he was going to talk to me about, or wouldn't tell me about the questions he was going to ask me.
The first time something, I don't know.
Yeah. So a bit of a natural. Well done. I think it's great, this.
Oh, thank you.
Great innovation. Nice one.
Thank you. Any words you want to shout out back to the folks at the UK?
Lottie, do a good job singing tonight.
We heard so much about it.
My daughter's singing at a prom tonight, or a ball. So I'm thinking about her. So there we are. And hi to everybody in the UK.
Thank you, Tim. Come back visit us soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great Friday. We'll talk soon.